Calm, peace, equality. It is not possible to make a foundation in yoga if the mind is restless. The first thing needed is quiet in the mind. Also, to merge the personal consciousness is not the first aim of the yoga. The first aim is to open it to a higher spiritual consciousness, and for this also a quiet mind is the first need. The first thing to do in the sadhana is to get a settled peace and silence in the mind. Otherwise, you may have experiences, but nothing will be permanent. It is in the silent mind that the true consciousness can be built. A quiet mind does not mean that there will be no thoughts or mental movements at all, but that these will be on the surface and you will feel your true being within separate from them, observing but not carried away, able to watch and judge them and reject all that has to be rejected and to accept and keep to all that is true consciousness and true experience. Passivity of the mind is good, but take care to be passive only to the truth and to the touch of the divine Sakti. If you are passive to the suggestions and influences of the lower nature, you will not be able to progress, or else you will expose yourself to adverse forces which may take you far away from the true path of yoga. Aspire to the mother for the settled quietness and calm of the mind and this constant sense of the inner being in you standing back from the external nature and turned to the light and truth. The forces that stand in the way of sadhana are the forces of the lower mental, vital, and physical nature. Behind them are adverse powers of the mental, vital, and subtle physical worlds. These can be dealt with only after the mind and heart have become one pointed and concentrated in the single aspiration to the divine. The first step is quiet mind. Silence is a further step, but quietude must be there. And by a quiet mind, I mean a mental consciousness within, which sees thoughts arrive to it and move about, but does not itself feel that it is thinking or identifying itself with the thoughts or call them its own. Thoughts, mental movements may pass through it as wayfarer appear and pass from elsewhere through a silent country. The quiet mind observes them or does not care to observe them, but in either case does not become active or lose its quietude. Silence is more than quietude. It can be gained by banishing thought altogether from the inner mind, keeping it voiceless or quiet outside. But more easily it is established by a descent from above. One feels it coming down, entering and occupying or surrounding the personal consciousness, which then tends to merge itself in the vast impersonal silence. At last, you have the true foundation of the sadhana. This calm, peace, and surrender are the right atmosphere for all the rests to come. Knowledge, strength, ananda. Let it become complete. It does not remain when engaged in work, because it is still confined to the mind proper, which has only just received the gift of silence. When the new consciousness is fully formed and has taken entire possession of the vital nature and the physical being, The vital as yet is only touched or dominated by the silence, not possessed by it. Then this defect will disappear. The quiet consciousness of peace you now have in the mind must become not only calm but wide. You must feel it everywhere, yourself in it and all in it. This also will help to bring the calm as a basis into the action. The wider your consciousness becomes, the more you will be able to receive from the above. The Sakti will be able to discern and bring strength and light as well as peace into the system. What you feel as narrow and limited in you is the physical mind. It can only widen if this wider consciousness and the light come down and possess the nature. The physical inertia from which you suffer is likely to lessen and disappear only when strength from above descends into the system. Remain quiet, open yourself, and call the divine Sakti to confirm the calm and peace, to widen the consciousness, and to bring into it as much light and power as it can at present receive and assimilate. Take care not to be overeager, as this may disturb again such quiet and balance as has been already established in the vital nature. Have confidence in the final result and give time for the power to do its work. Equality is a very important part of this yoga. It is necessary to keep equality under pain and suffering, and that means to endure firmly and calmly, not to be restless or troubled or depressed or despondent, to go on with a steady faith in the divine will. But equality does not include inert acceptance. If, for instance, there is temporary failure of some endeavor in the sadhana, one has to keep equality, not to be troubled or despondent, but one has not to accept the failure as an indication of the divine will and give up the endeavor. You ought rather to find out the reason and the meaning of the failure and go forward in faith towards victory. So, with illness, you have not to be troubled, shaken, or restless, but you have not to accept illness as the divine will, but rather look upon it as an imperfection of the body to be got rid of as you try to get rid of the vital imperfections or mental errors.